Luc Bouchard with Solvac Life Coaching Services. I've been a certified life skills coach for 22 years, and I specialize in men's issues, what keeps them stuck, how come they choose to be unhappy, and things like depression. Welcome. Today is the 52nd day of the 72-day challenge. We're in the 8th week. We're in a new week. Today is men and depression. The daily focus is male conditioning, and the topic today is selling the unsellable, authenticity. I'm so glad you joined me for another week, and we're going to look at what authenticity means and how come men choose to not be authentic in their lives. So to begin with, what we must kind of uncover is, well, what does it mean to be authentic? And authenticity is really about being honest with self, being honest with others, being truthful about your current situations, not living in confusion, not living in denial, and being actually reality-based as your current situation. Both men and women struggle with authenticity, but men struggle with it more because of how we've been socialized. And to be authentic, we have to actually be prepared to deal with some of those feelings and emotions that are somewhat distasteful and that we dislike. And they're what I call the softer emotions, and what they're the ones that actually put us in a vulnerable spot. So they're going to be things like fear, anxiety, hurt, pain, and worthlessness. And we've been socialized to distance ourselves from those emotions, because when we embrace those, that puts us in this vulnerable space, and that puts us in a feeling of a lack of power and control. And everything I've been talking about, a lot of what I've been talking about in my videos has been that we want to maintain this false sense of power and control and posture and show that we have it all together and everything's all right, because we don't want to show any weaknesses, because we give our power away to other people. We're worried about what they're going to think. So, as I mentioned, today's topic is selling the unsellable. And how do you sell the merits of being authentic to individuals such as men who see no value in it, who've never been told that, or who've never had experience and never been modeled to them that being authentic is worthwhile and good, and that their life's going to get better? Because if being authentic means I have to be vulnerable, and vulnerable means I'm weak, well, WTF. Why on earth would I do that? And the analogy I use with authenticity and being vulnerable is the idea of you're in a cave, a huge cavernous space where you have a headlight on, a lamp, and it doesn't even begin to cut the light, where you can't even see it. And you're having someone say to you, step off this ledge. And they're looking back going, are you out of your mind? I'm not going to step off. No, really, it's going to be fine. Oh, I don't know where I'm going to land. Oh, I don't know how deep it is. We'll just step off the ledge. You'll be fine. And the guy's going, I don't think so. Why would I do that? And so much about personal growth is that, and about being authentic and dealing with coming to terms with stuff and dealing with stuff in the past. It's the idea of asking someone to step off into this big cavernous space where they don't know where they're going to land, they don't know how far the other side is, and they don't know how much pain they're going to be in. And as I've had men say to me going, why the hell would I do that? You're asking me to do something where I don't know there's going to be any kind of payoff. And I say, yeah, I get that. But the question is, what is worse? The fear of the unknown, or the pain you're in right now that you're in? And unfortunately, for so many people I work with, and so many men, it's the pain that actually overrides the fear. And it's the pain that they're finally going to go, I'm tired of the pain, and it's not worth it. So I'm going to actually step off into this. And the men that do that and step off and then find out that they don't fall that hard and they're that long, and they actually get through to the other side on a fairly fairly quickly, a fairly quick basis compared to all the pain they've been in for years, come through to the other side and go, oh my God, had I known it was this easy, or oh, this is just so much, not knowing how easy it is. Had I known that it was doable, had I known that this would have been the payoff for it is going to be I'd have this experience, I would have done it a lot sooner. But they were on the other edge for the longest time going, I'm not going there. I'm not going to jump off into this big cavernous space. Why would I do that? That's like insane. And personal growth and being authentic is that. You have to, it's a leap of faith that you're going to be okay and that you're going to be fine. So the payoff to going to the other side and taking that leap of faith and doing the personal work is the exact opposite of what happens when you don't do the work. And when you don't do the work, what you get is you're a lot more unhappy, have a hard time living in your skin, you're a lot more stressed, you don't really have good relationships with your spouses or your children, you don't have a lot of peace of mind, you're probably not sleeping very well, and you're generally miserable. Or not miserable, you're not happy. Conversely, when you do the work and you go to the other side, what you have is better relationships with everyone, including self, which is most important. Your children like you more. You're less stressed out. You're more at ease. You're happier. You're probably having more sex from your wife and your partners because you're just happier and she feels a better connection with you. And if there's any kind of payoff to doing the work, gentlemen, you'll probably get laid more. And generally, you'll have less depression. Because when you don't do this stuff and you're living this quiet life of desperation and you're being suppressed because you're not willing to deal with your stuff, you're not willing to be authentic and really embrace the stuff that has kept us unhappy for so long, I'm going to suggest that's a form of depression. Whereas if you're willing to deal with this stuff, you're a lot freer, a lot more open. You're just lighter. So you're less, oppression, depression on you. I'm not going to suggest it's the clinical term for depression, but I think you're just generally happier because you're prepared to take that step off into that big cavernous space and deal with the stuff that you don't want to deal with. And I know for myself and many other men I work with, they will talk about the fact that it's the fear that kept them from stepping off into that cavernous space. And they had no idea that it could be so much better once they actually do the work. So the guys that are watching this and are having stuff that is unresolved for them, the stuff that keeps you up at night, the stuff that runs in your head, the squirrel brain, the stuff that is keeping you unhappy, why aren't you dealing with that? Those unresolved relationships, those things that are gnawing at you and that you judge yourself for and you judge others for about things that you're unhappy about, why aren't you dealing with them? And tell me it's not about fear. And how bad does it have to get before you're finally so tired of being sick and tired that you're prepared to move forward because that's an option? And the guys out there that have stepped off into that cavernous space and have gone to the other side, it's been about fear that kept you from there, right? Bet you it is. And not knowing it can be okay, but generally fear stopping you. And this brings me to one of my last points about men, and two last points. And the first one is, for a gender that's supposed to be so fearless and just supposed to be tough on that, we're pretty fear-based, and we give a lot of our power away when it comes to what other people think about us. And we don't have a lot of courageous. We're not very fearless when it comes to dealing with our emotions. And further to that, we're hypocrites. We will quickly point out how other men should deal with their stuff and how they see this guy's got anger issues, he's got rage issues, or he's really unhappy, he really should deal with this stuff, and we'll see it. But we're less likely to deal with it. And at the end of the day, what it all comes down to is, what do you deserve in your life? Do you deserve to be happy? Do you deserve to have good peace of mind? Do you deserve to be content? Do you deserve to have less stress? Do you deserve a better night's sleep? There it is. What do you deserve in your life? And do you deserve to be in pain? Because when you stay in pain and you don't deal with these long-standing issues that we all have, how come? And that's why I think we go into depression, is because we're suppressed and we don't deal with this stuff. Form of depression, anyway. And I know, believe me, I know from intimately about how much I avoided and wouldn't deal with stuff and the cost it took on so many things in my life. Luc Bouchard with Solve Act Life Coaching Services. I've been a certified life skills coach for 22 years, and I specialize in men's issues and what keeps men stuck, like inauthenticity. I hope you have a great day, and tomorrow is the 53rd day, and later this week I'm going to be talking more about authenticity, probably on, I forget which day, but what true authenticity is. So you might want to watch that if you want some more working knowledge around that. You have a great day, and take care.